I've never really been a romance type of girl, right? I'm the girl that goes over and like watches Gundam and and goes to like the action adventure section, but it kind of sucks because like I'm into writing poetry now. I'm trying to write poetry, and I'm like, okay, let me Google some poetry. It's all about love. So you know what? Here's a love poem. Okay. Please let me make sense. Hang on. She had lived so many lives. She stopped trying to live her own. She tried learning different languages so she can get farther from her own world. Being herself was tiring after the first few centuries, and being young made her feel so weary. She tried to be other people, and so she spent time learning how to talk to babies and tame lions, climb mountains, and even speak in Silbo. If time was a straight line, she ran tangents. And she found herself growing stranger by the century. When she heard that love was timeless, she tried to find somebody to fill the void left by mortality, but found herself falling in love with fate instead. When she figured out that fate would never be hers, she tried writing poetry because somebody told her once that writing poetry was the only proper way to draft a complaint to God. Waiting for a reply to a letter, she hurled at a heaven that would never take her. She found a photographer instead. He was young, but he told her that he swore he had known her in every single one of his past lives. His eyes caught her like an image between two pieces of film. His eyes were a faded kind of brown that glowed when he talked about photons and the brightness of the dark room. He told her she had the look of a human being in a jar with the air spilling out, and that she looked like a child no matter how many battlefields she had waded through. Figuring that she had the time, she let him teach her photography. Soon enough, they were traveling the world together on the backs of camouflage trucks and on the tops of wagons, the mortal and the immortal, both fascinated by the idea of tricking time into stopping. Whenever she started to feel afraid that nature would figure out that she was cheating it, he would point out the electric lights to her and remind her that they too were nothing but imitations of the stars. Realizing that she had the time and that God had probably stopped listening because humans like wishes had expiration dates, so she fell out of his jurisdiction. She decided to stay with the photographer and give up on falling in love with fate. They moved from place to place, stopping time for another half century, and he helped her fill in the lines she didn't even know she had. He taught her that one chemical could fill a picture with color, and another one with darkness, and that every picture was a story with a beginning and an end, that photography was like poetry, and that both tried to figure out how to say one thing but mean a million others. Like white light was actually an entire spectrum when you reflected it in a prism. Realizing they were running out of time, he reassured her that things would never break around her because she would always find the metaphors to put things back together again. He told her that she had taught him more about colors than the dark-room chemicals ever would, and that without her, he would never have known that the word wounded felt like a red felt wrap punched to the stomach, or that love was the sound of a harmonica in the woods on a warm day in the winter. Realizing that she didn't have as much time as she thought she did, he slipped away somewhere into the dark room, into one of his photographs, perhaps. She learned Esperanto in order to get over the pain, but remember that he had told her pain was only a pale form of happiness, and that many people went through life not feeling anything at all. When she heard that love was timeless, she tried to learn all the languages so that she could build a Tower of Babel to tempt God. What she got, though, was a story to call her own and stains the color of fate. Thank you.